No matter who you are, no matter where you've been, no matter where you are right now, you are welcome here. Welcome to Daily Audio Bible Chronological. I'm Jill, and today is the 5th day of February. It's a joy to be here with you, and I am so thrilled to welcome you to the safe space. And sometimes you just need a safe space. You need a cozy space to come out of the cold and come into the warmth. And this is it. Welcome to the global campfire where people listen globally all over the world. We are not limited to a space or a country. This literally goes everywhere that you are able to find the internet and to listen. And there are people all over the world, different skin colors, different languages, different denominations, different walks of life, and everyone has a story. Everyone has a story, and you and your story are welcome here in this safe space. We are journeying through the Bible. We're currently with Moses and the children of Israel, the Israelites who have been brought out of Egypt. They are in the desert. A system has been set up by way of Moses's father-in-law, Jethro, to help take off the workload of Moses. And so he has called ethical leaders together to help manage the people and to help manage their differences. I imagine that could get messy real quick. So we left off there yesterday. We pick right up where we left off yesterday today. And we are jumping in to read Exodus chapters 19 through 21 today. And this week we are reading the New English Translation, Exodus chapter 19. In the 3rd month after the Israelites went out from the land of Egypt, on the very day they came to the desert of Sinai. After they journeyed from Rephidim, they came to the desert of Sinai, and they camped in the desert. Israel camped there in front of the mountain. Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain. Thus you will tell the house of Jacob, and declare to the people of Israel, you yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt, and how I lifted you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. And now, if you will diligently listen to me and keep my covenant, then you will be my special possession out of all the nations, for all the earth is mine, and you will be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words that you will speak to the Israelites. So Moses came and summoned the elders of Israel. He set before them all these words that the Lord had commanded him, and all the people answered together, all that the Lord has commanded, we will do. So Moses brought the words of the people back to the Lord. The Lord said to Moses, I am going to come to you in a dense cloud, so that the people may hear when I speak with you, and so that they will always believe in you. And Moses told the words of the people to the Lord. The Lord said to Moses, go to the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and make them wash their clothes, and be ready for the 3rd day. For on the 3rd day the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. You must set boundaries for the people all around, saying, take heed to yourselves not to go up on the mountain nor touch its edge. Whoever touches the mountain will surely be put to death. No hand will touch him, but he will surely be stoned or shot through, whether a beast or a human being. He must not live. When the ram's horn sounds a long blast, they may go up on the mountain. Then Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. He said to the people, be ready for the 3rd day. Do not approach your wives for marital relations. On the 3rd day in the morning, there was thunder and lightning, and a dense cloud on the mountain, and the sound of a very loud horn. All the people who were in the camp trembled. Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet God, and they took their place at the foot of the mountain. Now Mount Sinai was completely covered with smoke, because the Lord had descended on it in fire, and its smoke went up like the smoke of a great furnace, and the whole mountain shook violently. When the sound of the horn grew louder and louder, Moses was speaking, and God was answering him with a voice. The Lord came down on Mount Sinai, on the top of the mountain, and the Lord summoned Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. The Lord said to Moses, "Go down and solemnly warn the people, lest they force their way through to the Lord to look, and many of them perish. Let the priests also, who approach the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break through against them." Moses said to the Lord, "The people are not able to come up to Mount Sinai because you solemnly warned us. Set boundaries for the mountain and set it apart." The Lord said to him, "Go, get down, and then come up, and Aaron with you, but do not let the priests and the people force their way through to come up to the Lord, lest he break through against them." So Moses went down to the people and spoke to them. God spoke all these words: "I, the Lord, am your God, who brought you from the land of Egypt, from the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is on the earth beneath, or that is in the water below. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, responding to the transgression of fathers by dealing with children to the third and fourth generations of those who reject me, and showing covenant faithfulness to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold guiltless anyone who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to set it apart as holy. For 6 days you may labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, or your male servant, or your female servant, or your cattle, or the resident foreigner who is in your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and the sea, and all that is in them, and he rested on the seventh day. Honor your father and your mother, that you may live a long time in the land the Lord your God is giving to you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that belongs to your neighbor." All the people were seeing the thundering and the lightning, and heard the sound of the horn, and saw the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled with fear, and they kept their distance. They said to Moses, "You speak to us, and we will listen, but do not let God speak with us, lest we die." Moses said to the people, "Do not fear, for God has come to test you, that the fear of him may be before you, so that you do not sin." The people kept their distance, but Moses drew near the thick darkness where God was. The Lord said to Moses, "Thus you will tell the Israelites, you yourselves have seen that I have spoken with you from heaven. You must not make gods of silver alongside me, nor make gods of gold for yourselves. You must make for me an altar made of earth, and you will sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your cattle. In every place where I cause my name to be honored, I will come to you, and I will bless you. If you make an altar of stone, you must not build it of stones shaped with tools, for if you use your tool on it, you have defiled it. And you must not go up by steps to my altar, so that your nakedness is not exposed. These are the ordinances that you will set before them. If you buy a Hebrew servant, he is to serve you for 6 years. But in the 7th year he will go out free without paying anything. If he came in by himself, he will go out by himself. If he had a wife when he came in, then his wife will go out with him. If his master gave him a wife, and she bore sons or daughters, the wife and the children will belong to her master, and he will go out by himself. But if the servant should declare, "I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free," then his master must bring him to the judges, and he will bring him to the door or the doorpost, and his master will pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. If a man sells his daughter as a female servant, she will not go out as the male servants do. If she does not please her master, who has designated her for himself, then he must let her be redeemed. He has no right to sell her to a foreign nation, because he has dealt deceitfully with her. If he designated her for his son, then he will deal with her according to the customary rights of daughters. If he takes another wife, he must not diminish the first one's food, her clothing, or her marital rights. If he does not provide her with these 3 things, then she will go out free without paying money. Whoever strikes someone so that he dies must surely be put to death. But if he does not do it with premeditation, but it happens by accident, then I will appoint for you a place where he may flee. But if a man willfully attacks his neighbor to kill him cunningly, you will take him even from my altar that he may die. Whoever strikes his father or his mother must surely be put to death. Whoever kidnaps someone and sells him, or is caught still holding him, must surely be put to death. Whoever treats his father or his mother disgracefully must surely be put to death. If men fight, and one strikes his neighbor with a stone or with his fist, and he does not die, but must remain in bed, and then if he gets up and walks about outside on his staff, then the one who struck him is innocent, except he must pay for the injured person's loss of time and see to it that he is fully healed. If a man strikes his male servant or his female servant with a staff so that he or she dies as a result of the blow, he will surely be punished. However, if the injured servant survives 1 or 2 days, the owner will not be punished, for he has suffered the loss. If men fight and hit a pregnant woman and her child is born prematurely, but there is no serious injury, the one who hit her will surely be punished in accordance with what the woman's husband demands of him, and he will pay what the court decides. But if there is serious injury, then you will give a life for a life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. If a man strikes the eye of his male servant or his female servant so that he destroys it, he will let the servant go free as compensation for the eye. If he knocks out the tooth of his male servant or his female servant, he will let the servant go free as compensation for the tooth. If an ox gores a man or a woman so that either dies, then the ox must surely be stoned and its flesh must not be eaten, but the owner of the ox will be acquitted. But if the ox had the habit of goring, and its owner was warned, but he did not take the necessary precautions, and then it killed a man or a woman, the ox must be stoned, and the man must be put to death. If a ransom is set for him, then he must pay the redemption for his life, according to whatever amount was set for him. If the ox gores a son or a daughter, the owner will be dealt with according to this rule. If the ox gores a male servant or a female servant, the owner must pay 30 shekels of silver, and the ox must be stoned. If a man opens a pit, or if a man digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls into it, the owner of the pit must repay the loss. He must give money to its owner, and the dead animal will become his. If the ox of one man injures the ox of his neighbor so that it dies, then they will sell the live ox and divide its proceeds, and they will also divide the dead ox. or if it is known that the ox had the habit of goring, and its owner did take the necessary precautions, he must surely pay ox for ox, and the dead animal will become his. Not as much to point out and catch up on today, but just a couple of key things that we see in the reading today. The people are in the desert. The people got some food and instruction on how to eat it yesterday, and they're not real crazy about the manna that God has provided. But there is a lesson that he is teaching them in that. So in this place of the desert, God is calling Moses to meet him up on the mountain. Now, there is significance to this throughout the Bible. Even some of the places that Brian and I visited on our New Testament trek last year, we saw so many places, churches, monasteries built on top of a mountain in ascension, and that's very intentional in some of the settings as far as churches related. They would build on a mountain if there was a water source nearby. But I'm thinking about these monasteries that were built on these beautiful rocks, like within the rocks. And the intention being that they're high, close to God, but distractions are non-negotiable. There is not a lot happening around, and that is very intentional, to get away, to go up, to meet with God, and to do so in an environment where there is not a lot of visual distractions and people distractions. So God summons Moses several times, even over the course of the next few days. We're going to find that this is the meeting place that God wants to meet with Moses. And he tells him to declare this to the people, the house of Jacob. You yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt and how I lifted you on eagle's wings. I love that he starts with what he brought them out of. And now, if you will diligently listen to me and keep my covenant, then you will be my special people out of all the nations, for all the earth is mine, and you will be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. God sets his intention for the people of Israel. So Moses goes down the mountain and tells the people, and I wonder if even when we read this, if someone were reading these words to us, if the parts that we wouldn't zoom in on and pay attention is, I'm going to be special to God. I'm going to be his special little daughter, his special big man. And perhaps they just don't understand the regard, the sacrifice, the totality of what being a kingdom of priests and a holy nation will cost them and what it will look like. And they answer with, all that the Lord has commanded we will do. And then God sets a boundary that the people are not to go up on the mountain or touch its edge, and whoever does so will be put to death. And then there's preparation for a ceremony to solidify this covenant between the people and God. And so Moses comes down from the mountain. The people are sanctified. They wash their clothes, refrain from marital relations, and then God reveals himself through his presence to the people. And then he summons Moses back to the mountain. He goes back up. The Lord said to Moses, go down and solemnly warn the people lest they force their way through to the Lord to look, and many of them will perish. Let the priests also who approach the Lord sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break through against them. Moses said, the people are not able to come up to Mount Sinai because you solemnly warned us. Set boundary for the mountain and set it apart. Moses is getting this. And so God calls for Moses and Aaron to come back up together. And then what we see take place from here on out in today's reading is for instruction, laws, and boundaries, and formations to be implemented because the people agreed to be in this covenant with God. I just want to point out there is a lot of rules, a lot of laws we're going to learn about. After God gives what will be the 10 commandments out of the entire Jewish law, it makes a very clear law about the altar and to not make any other gods. There is this law about personal injury. Whoever strikes someone so that he dies must surely be put to death. But if he does not do it with premeditation, but it happens by accident, then I will appoint for you a place where he may flee. But if a man willfully attacks his neighbor to kill him cunningly, you will take him even from my altar that he may die. I point this out particularly because even as this people is being established, this community that has never been formed in this way ever before in history until now in the Bible, we see a distinction of the motive of heart. This is very important because God is always interested in the motive. And as we meet this man named Jesus in the New Testament, Emmanuel, who is God with us, Jesus, more times than not, will speak to the person's heart and do so in a way that they don't even understand what he's saying, because he is trying to bypass the intellect and get to the motive of the heart. This is what we see God establishing in the people that he has called special, set apart, holy, to be a kingdom and a nation of priests. And we'll unpack the depth of this covenant and that meaning as we go along. Jesus, we thank you for your word. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for your grace and your mercy. Thank you that you care more about our heart and you are not afraid to offend us in our behavior and in our thinking to get to the depths of something greater. We love you and we worship you. I pray that we would all be here to do the work of cleaning out what needs cleaned, healed, restored within each and every single one of us. Have your way in our hearts. This is my prayer. And I pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.